Hi everyone, Chase here with Adjuvant Physical Therapy. I'm going to talk a little bit to you today about lymphedema and kind of just an overview. I'm going to try to use some metaphors to try to help people understand kind of what lymphedema is, what our lymphatic system is, and why it's so important to maintain good lymph node health as well as lymph vessel health. So our body, we're born with a particular number of lymph nodes. The number of specific lymph nodes is kind of varies from person to person. But we are only born with one amount. They do not regenerate well. They don't typically heal real uniformly. And so whenever we have a trauma to these structures, it can really play a big burden on our body. Now, what the lymph nodes are and the lymph vessels, the structures that make up our lymph system, basically clear out cellular waste that our body produces on a daily basis. And the substance that's in the lymph fluid is a protein-rich substance called chyle. And sometimes, I'll do that in a minute. But basically, when you're dealing with somebody's lymphatic system, think of it as your garbage disposal or your waste management system, your trash company. And they're trying to get all of the routes in your body sufficiently cleared. So you put your trash out at your curb. Your trash company comes by, picks it up, distributes it back to where it goes to get collected. Now, our main collectors are kind of like our landfill. Is we're going to try to take everything back to our central region here in our body. I'm going to use green to make up our lymph vessels. So we have lymph vessels, kind of coming up this way. They go along the arm. They have different attachment points. We have them in our legs. Okay. And we have lymph nodes. We have lymph nodes in our cervical region. We have a high consolidation in our cervical region as well as our armpit, our axillary region, and our inguinal region. And so these are very important to understand because the particular lymph nodes typically, I say typically because it doesn't always play around that way, but lymph nodes will collect from particular regions. So our right armpit lymph nodes will help to take up fluid and take up waste from our right arm. And so for reference, this is going to be our right side, and this is our left side. Okay. And so think of the lymph nodes as our lymph system's trash trucks, or they are the collectors that help to drive the removal of that cellular waste that gets produced each day. And so we have a certain number of those trash trucks. Now, they have a particular function. This right armpit is going to clear the right arm and part of the right trunk here. The right inguinal lymph nodes, the right groin lymph nodes will collect the right leg and part of the lower trunk and abdomen. And then similarly to the left and the left arm and leg. The cervical lymph nodes help to drain and clear the head and neck area. Okay. Now, let's say somebody has had, now when they're running efficiently and healthy, we don't typically have any issues. We don't notice any dramatic changes in our body. Some people may get swollen lymph nodes because their body's trying to get rid of toxins, or if you're sick, you sometimes have swollen lymph nodes that are trying to help you battle your illness. So they're very important structures. And when we have a trauma to them, let's say for instance we have a patient that has had breast cancer and they've had a mastectomy, or they have had axillary lymph node dissection. Now they have essentially trimmed off how many trucks are responsible or now are healthy And even through radiation as well. Radiation can cause damage to these structures because they are very superficial to the skin. And so radiation has been another cause of lymphedema as well. Now this doesn't bode well for this right extremity if we have removed a few of those trash trucks from completing the route that it has to help drain. So now, let's say we had 10 lymph nodes and we've removed 5 of those. So now we have half as many lymph nodes to clear that same route. And so basically, what can happen is sometimes those 5, the remaining healthy, can efficiently take up that fluid, but sometimes this is not capable of completely taking back that load or transporting that load. And what you end up having is some buildup of fluid within the interstitial space or buildup of fluid in the extremity. And sometimes that's when people will start seeing things like improper fit of clothing, their rings or jewelry don't fit correctly. They may notice swelling in their hand, fingers. I've seen people feeling fullness in their upper arm. So yeah, this can happen not just to folks with breast cancer, but let's say I've had a very traumatic procedure in my groin that's impacted my inguinal lymph nodes. This can have a big effect to the lower extremity as well. So in general, we are born with a certain number of lymph nodes. Those lymph nodes have one particular main function, and if we have some sort of impact to those number of tissues or the vessels themselves, that can directly impact how much of that lymphatic fluid gets drained back to the body. And the goal of those motors, like we talked about, is to take everything back centrally here. And we have our main collectors for the lower extremity here. We also have main collectors up here as well. And those help us to efficiently get rid and dispose of that fluid through excretion, through urination, defecation. Our body will dispose of that properly. So hopefully this gives you kind of a overview using the kind of trash truck metaphor for what lymphedema, what the lymphatic system is and what the main function of it is, and then what can happen if something has directly impacted those tissues. So, and if you have any questions, leave comments. You can visit us at our website, www.adjuvantpt.com. If you're in the Kansas City area, give us a call and we can definitely get you in, okay?